Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Western Digital, my Passport Ultra 1 terabyte HDD. External, obviously. Okay, and you can't get inside the case, but let's plug it into the computer and check the health statistics. Now, I've had this drive for more than a year, and it was used as one of those little redundant backup systems, which, quite thankfully, I did do that because it was a program, game actually, that stopped working under Sequoia. Worked fine under Sonoma. It was actually a wrapped with Pulitol porting toolkit PC game. It was Vice City, and it can't find the 640 by 480, and it's like, it worked on Sonoma. Why now, right? And I think it also worked on the first version releases of Sequoia, but on Sonoma it was fine. But on Sequoia 15.2, forget it. And there's still no way I can get it to run. So anyways, I deleted it off my main drive that I use for running programs like games, okay, on my external. I also wiped it off all my other backups, okay? And it's like, because I figured, well, if it ain't going to run again, I guess I'm screwed now. Didn't think. Duh. But I did actually find out it was still living on that thing, and so I copied it back to the computer to try again. So no avail, ain't gonna work. So I'm gonna have to undo it from the wrapper, run it on my PC. Okay, and that's fine because I like playing Vice City. Now San Andreas is still running perfect on my Mac, no hassles. Okay, and that game goes to like 4K. Anyways, let's check the health on this thing. Health is something that's very important. I think the last time I checked this was when I got it from my buddy. That was more than a year ago. So, current status. Health status is good. Temperature is 28 Celsius. SATA slash 300, USB serial ATA. Western Digital, of course, is what it is. Buffer size is 8,192 kilobytes. Rotation rate 5400 RPM, power on time 211, power on hours 31,817 hours. It does not tell me the reads and writes, probably because it's an HDD and that doesn't read that kind of information. Because if I go to like one of my SSDs, it tells me my reads, my writes. Rotation rate is called SSD. Power on count is 455. Power on hours, 3,575 hours. Okay, and on that drive, that's a 1 terabyte Kingston, and it's a KC1000 PCI Express 4 that's rated for 7,000 megabits per second. It's had 10 point, come on, hover. It's got over 10 terabytes. Writes. Total reads is 6.795 terabyte. So that information we get on SSDs, but on hard drives we don't get as much. We just get health status is good. And it is actually good. It mounts rather quickly, bonus. But I had to reformat it for PC because it was under Mac only, and PCs don't read Mac without a special program. So I figured, well, we might as well just do it this way and reformat. I got my one file off and everything else is identical to my other drive, so I don't really care. But overall, I will give it a 4 out of 5. I do think it deserves that. You can buy it on Amazon, but we will be asking that you go to therapy if you buy it because they want $250 for the 1 terabyte of this same drive with the same cabling. All the new drives from Western Digital start at 2 terabyte and up, and they start at $119 for a 2 terabyte with Type C, okay, which you will get a C to A adapter. I don't know if it's on all their drives, but probably is, because you still have to remember that there are still bazillions of people on the planet that have computers with Type A ports, including Windows computers, all have them. They're not going to go all Type C fanatical on desktops and laptops. They're going to keep their Type A's as long as they possibly can, okay? Apple has finally said, we're getting rid of Type A. Now, we may get our Type A's back in the new Mac Studio M4, but I'm not holding my breath. Okay, but in the newest systems, yeah, they took out our Type A's even on our Mac Minis. I was not freaking amused, I'll tell you that. And I don't like using converters because they don't always work the greatest, okay, when you use a converter plug. And I've got enough of those converter plugs to know better. And yeah, it's a bit of a pain, okay? But this drive, even though you can't take it apart and swap out the drive whenever it dies, it is what it is, okay? But it ain't no $250 drive, I'll tell you that right now. I got it on a trade deal more than a year ago. I don't know what owner I am on it. My buddy got it from a guy too on a trade, so we just all like to trade crap for some reason. I don't know, but saves us money, I guess. One man's junk, another man's treasure, and everybody's happy, and that's all that matters. But it's still in good shape. It still works fine, no issues. It's held the data that was on there up until this morning for more than a year. So I have nothing to worry about, and nothing has been corrupted on it, so that's always a good sign. Just don't ever drop an HDD. If you drop any HDD, it's going to gore and dust. All right? They just don't like being dropped. SSDs, throw them into a wall. I don't care. It'll still work, okay? But an HDD ain't going to happen, man. 1 foot, maybe 2 feet tops. It's dust. Now, I will say this. As much as I don't care for HDDs, I do have some kicking around. I ended up inheriting these from customers' computers because they upgraded to SSDs, was part of the job I was doing for them. And they're like, keep it, I don't want it. What am I going to do with it? So, okay, fine, I'll make use of it. I'm going to check on these later today to see what their health statistics are, and they are SATA bust. IDE is like so old, right? So gone. But IDE to SATA really wasn't a huge improvement for speed because HDD is still HDD, right? So anyways, no real improvements. And they're still really sluggy. I mean, it's unreal how slow an HDD is, even at 5,400 RPM. 7,200 RPM is a little bit quicker, but not that much. Either way, it takes a long time to get your data on, it takes a long time to get your data off. But if you are going to be one of those people that believe the masses, that are convinced that SSDs data corrupts over time from not being plugged in, which is a load of crap. But you can believe what you want. I believe what I want, and I know from decades of this stuff. Okay, ever since you could buy an SSD off the shelf, pretty much, I think I've had them. You know, in one form or another, right? It either came with a computer or whatever. But I have never, ever seen data get corrupted or lost over time from leaving an SSD unhooked. In fact, I have SSDs that might get plugged in once a year, if that, just to update them, okay? Because I do have my main drive, like my internal drive on my Mac, for example. It's there, and it runs my daily stuff, all my software, except all my games and all my important data I can't lose is kept on an external drive. And then I got a couple more Thunderbolt drive cases up there too, which are not currently plugged in. And right now they're also naked. I wiped them out the other day because I got to redo some of my backups just because I'm trying to squish stuff here and squish stuff there. And I think I'm finally going to decide that this one folder that's massive, I'm going to just keep it on its own drive. So I want to clean things up. So that's my project for the next couple of days, is cleaning stuff up and then putting stuff back in the shelf when I'm done. Because I can't afford any more drives right now to upgrade the internal storage in those cases. So I'm going to have to figure out another way. So thankfully I got those, and I got a couple of other Type C cases that already have naked drives in them that are also 1 terabyters. It's amazing how much space everything's taking up nowadays in drives. So you really got to keep buying bigger and bigger drives. But SSDs are still more expensive than HDDs for the obvious points, speed access points, you know, lightweight, you can drop them, it doesn't matter kind of thing, right? But the storage amounts are still very expensive, even going with buying and building your own stuff, compared to an HDD, right? An HDD is still going to be far cheaper for mass storage. I'm almost wondering if there is some brand of drive out there that might be, I don't know, 20 terabytes or something, that I could just have like a box sitting on the table. That's my backup source, right? But I want reliable, that's the problem. And if an HDD fails to spin its platters, your crap is gone unless you pay big monies to get that repair done. Which is kind of like where I'm at with SSDs. They're less space. You can get, 4 or 8 terabytes in the same size physical stick. It's just it's got more crap on it, right? But it costs you a lot more money. That's the problem. Anyway, that's where I'm at with that drive. I think it's worth a 4 out of 5. Now, if you're going to buy one used, as long as it's in good condition or better, okay, I would say about $40 tops for the 1 terabyte for a used one. Okay, like that's top price. Okay, and that's in physically perfect condition. Okay, you should be able to wiggle the cable and it keeps the drive online. Then you know it's good. Okay, if you wiggle it and it pops off, well, walk away, because that means it's compromised, worn out, something's about to let go. I don't like these old plugs like this, but that's what we had. I still have an Amazon Basics case that has this plug type, which makes it a real pain in the butt. Like if something happens to your cable, then what? You're kind of yinked at that point, right? Type C's, at least you can just get a C to C and plug it in, away you go. I do have a case that is C to C or C to A or whatever I want to do with it. And that came from Amazon too, and it's kind of a nice case. And it fits SSD or, these ones, okay? So it fits the same drive, right? So laptop size SSDs. But it's kind of a to each your own at this point. Your better bet is Best Buy. Get like 5 or 6 terabytes for like $250 as opposed to 1 terabyte on Amazon for $250. Okay, you're gonna get ripped off. Amazon doesn't always have the greatest deals. Sometimes they do, and I love Amazon for that. But there are some things on Amazon, when I look at them, I always go like, holy crumb. And then I go and I check it out elsewhere at local stores, for example, even though they're web-based. We still have the local store, right? And I check out their website. And I'm like, that's a massive savings. Look what I can get for $269. I get 6 terabyte, or I can spend $250 on one. Let me do the math here. Which makes more sense? I know. I'll go into therapy and buy the 1 terabyte. No, I shouldn't. I can't afford therapy, so I better just go get the one at Best Buy. Get 5, 6 times the storage for the same money. Anyways, that's kind of where I'm at on that one. If you guys have had one of these 1 terabyte ones, comments below. Let me know if you still have it, if it's still working good for you, what kind of mileage you got going on that puppy. I'm kind of curious. I love Western Digital products. SSD, great, reliable, never had any issues. This thing, well, I'm not the original owner, but with the amount of hours on this thing, and it's still in what the computer says good condition, and it is. It works good. It holds the data. I've not had any errors. There's no bad blocks or sectors on it. Amazing. Okay, good drive. Okay, you're not going to find that usually in a Seagate. Okay, Seagate really is, well, they used to be really good at one time, but they've been kind of going down the tubes over the years. So I don't trust Seagates anymore. But everybody has their thing, right? Everybody has your preference. So anyway, that's it. So see you in the next one.